So, yeah, that's my intro. Hey guys, welcome back. Got another video for you. So today we're basically gonna be covering some common things in the game that help you be able to get along. We'll be doing the Wheel of Fortune. Also, I have about 200,000 coins. Some people say that newer accounts have the best chances getting the new generals, especially when they're on an old server. There's been rumors about doing it as soon as server change, doing it in the middle of the day. I did one where it was like as soon as server change. I know like as soon as the clock turned over and the server changed over, I came straight here and I had about 80,000 coins, and I wanted to see if it was true that it makes it easier to be able to get a general drop from the Wheel of Fortune. I'm doing it today, and I'm doing it with a younger account on a pretty old server on 312. I'm only, as you can see, I'm only with this account 1 million. It's level 21 going to 22. Building an account I spent only $5 on the account building it from scratch. Just with that, without trying to spend on the account, get it up. You can get it up pretty good, and even without money. Despite what everybody says, later on in the game, when I have a bigger account, as you guys know, so it does takes a lot longer to farm the needed material to be able to get what you're going to need. So I have near 200,000 coins, and I'm going to be spending these coins. We'll spend them in spurts. We're going to do them, of course, 10 spins for 900. This is to maximize what you're going to get from the coins. It saves you 100 coins spending it 10 at a time for 900. So we're just gonna flash through here, and then we'll cover some topics, a couple of topics. One of the things we could talk about as I'm doing this is lately it's been a big thing. On my main account, I work with Hannibal, who's a mounted general, and I use him in PvP. I'm pretty good with utilizing him in PvP. As you guys see, we still haven't got a general yet, and people they ask me why use a mounted general, and some ask what general should you use to start off your PvP with. So the reality of the situation is, unless you're a spender and a big spender, and you're getting a whole lot of hero tokens, and you land the general that you want, it's better to build your account towards the general that you do have. If you wanted to really search for if you really wanted to search for a general without spending money, I would suggest Trajan, who's inside. Here's a chance for us to get a general here. Who's inside the tavern. He's the ground general, probably one of the best ground generals. A lot of people choose between Trajan and Scipio. Um, so those will probably be the best if you're not gonna spend to get the general tokens, other than waiting for a whole general to drop or for enough of the shards of a good general for you to drop. And I've mentioned numerous times what's the best general for each class. So I'm probably just going to just talk about which class is the best class to probably use in PvP. And to be honest, there is no best class. I know people are going to start saying, well, everyone uses range. Yes, the majority of, especially the newer servers, they use range. The older servers use all of the different generals. We have another chance here for another general. Truth be told, just so you guys know, every 10 spins is a chance for a general. I say here's another chance for a general when you see it directly on the screen. And we're about 20,000 down, and we still haven't got a general yet. Um, every class is really good depending on if you build that general up correctly. Range is supposed to have superiority over mounted, as you know. Mounted superiority over ground. Ground superiority over range. And siege has a complete weakness of all the troops, but it also is stronger. Is superior to all the troops. And going to why people start off with a lot of range will explain why. It's because of the way they attack. They attack from distance. They're the last troops to hit the battlefield. And being the last troop to hit the battlefield, of course, they're the last troops to actually be attacked. And they have no direct enemy. Whereas the rest of the troops, They have direct enemies. They have, like I just mentioned, the cycle. But when they say superiority, I told people before the correct word wouldn't be that range kill mounted troops. Is the advantage that range have over mounted troops is that they target directly mounted troops. So if you say, for instance, you set your loadout and you got 2 million and you only put 2 million range, you're probably going to lose the battle. However, when you look at the defense report of the other guy, you will see that only mounted troops were attacked. The range will not attack any other troop until the mounted troops are dead. Once the mounted troops are dead, then range will start attacking the other various troops that's inside the player's city. And because of this, you will see a lot of people starting with PvP simply because most players are going to have a lot of mounted troops. Why are they going to have a lot of mounted troops? Because of bosses. Bosses are killed by mounted. So since they are killed by mounted, the first troops being built in every city is normally going to be mounted troops. We're pretty deep into this. We haven't reached a general yet. Just so you know, my thoughts on this is that we probably will not get a general. I mean, I don't. When it says random, it's random. Like you literally could just do one spin and mess around and get a general. You could spend about 500,000 of these things and not get a single general. You'll get everything else though, but you won't get a single general. So you know, this is the reason why range is the preferred troop, mostly because people automatically assume that they have the advantage over mounted, and that advantage over mounted makes them, quite dangerous. Also because the distance in which they attract. Mounted and ground hit the battlefield first, so they are more than likely to be attacked first. The problem with this is, however, is that the way troops attack, they attack from the highest level troops down. So this ranged troops will, of course, first target. We have a chance for Lucy here. So the ranged troops will attack at the highest mounted troops on the defensive side first, and then work his way down through all the mounted troops, and then start from the top and come back again. And the reason why that's an issue is because what people are doing for defense of this is they're heavily stacking ground troops and siege troops and tier ones. They're putting a very high number of T1 ground and T1 siege, and what that serves to do is to overwhelm whatever level of ranged troops is being sent, since they attack from up to down. From up to down, from highest tier troops to lowest tier troops. They put a high level of tier 1 ground troops and tier 1 siege troops in order to get in there and start attacking the ranged troops as quickly as possible. This is what they're doing. So it's a very good tactic on both sides on offense, but it's more of a good tactic on defense, because it's really easy to build T1 troops. So you building T1 ground, which really doesn't take a lot of resources to do, and T1 siege is very easy to do. That makes the defense against the ranged PvP general very simple. So you'll see players, what they do is they go ahead and they put they make one of these March presets. They fill it with all their mounted troops, or all their top mounted troops. They fill it with all their top mounted troops, and when they're about to be attacked, they'll go ahead and ghost just the mounted troops, just the majority. They're going to leave some because the range is going to attack those mounted troops that they still have left in there, giving the T1 ground and the T1 siege time to kill more range. While we're here, I'll show you a quick trick for some of you that don't know. I hit the teleport button and I'm moving my castle. This is a good way to search the map. This is a really good way to search the map. So this is some of the tricks that people are using to counter that attack. I focus on mounted because one, I know the defense for the ranged troops, and bottom line, no matter what general, what troop direction you go in, the most important asset is gonna be the general. So if you're gonna build a superior mounted general, and he's attacking a range heavy city, that mounted general is going to wreak havoc on that range heavy city. And I've done it numerous times. I can show you countless reports. Me sending a 1.4 million, just T13. T13. Of course, you're going to layer it down. I sent about 681. No, I'm bugging. I sent a 1K of every troop type, close to a million of just the T13 mounted or T12 mounted, and I wreak havoc on 4 million, 5 million troops inside of a city that's heavily ranged, and it's because you're not going to be attacking their ranged general that they attack with. You're going to be attacking their wall general. You're going to be attacking their wall general, and until you facing all 35 keeps, which is when the battle really, really, really changes. People are still working on their PvP general and not putting a lot of focus or effort into their wall defense general. So they're being massacred. You'll find the wall defense general being about 2.5 million up to about 3 million, and that's not going to be enough against a 4.5 million mounted general, a 5 million mounted general coming at you with a mounted heavy layered attack, even if you have a whole lot of ranged troops in your city, um, which is very, very, very common. This also is leading a lot of players to really, really start focusing on building up Trojan, since ground troops are so deadly to since ground troops are so deadly to the range troops. People are building up Trojan and doing layered attacks with Trojan because of this situation. So it's really important to make sure that you build according to what generals you have, and not try to only focus on just PvP range or PvP mounted. There is no preferred. The only preference is what you have. So maybe you end up with the Black Prince. Well, you start focus on building up a heavier range attack with him, or maybe you starting with a general that's given just attack in all areas. Well, then you just make sure you strengthen yourself in all areas. But bottom line, you're gonna need at minimum 5 to 6 mounted generals, one superior range general, one superior ground general. You can switch between 1 or 2 war generals. People use Letheon Keat because of his traps ability when they're in battlefield, and then when they go to PvP outside of battlefield, then they focus on Andrew Jackson or UC Sen. Is it Andrew Jackson? No, it isn't. John Johnson. It's on Johnson. They focus on Johnson or Yancy Sun, I believe is his name, for their war generals. So they alternate between Letheon Keat and one of the superior war generals. Some people even go with Trojan on their wall so they could be more ground focused to be able to better defend against range attacks. So as of right now, you see a lot of people using a lot of range, but that's gonna die down. That's gonna die down. Oh, huh, we got Lucy. We end up getting Princess Lucy as a general from. We use over about close to 100, over 100 coins, and we end up with Lucy. I wasn't expecting to get any, so that's not what we want. Where we want a general token to get some type of random general. So there's my alarm. So yeah, so this is the reason why a lot of people focus on range attack. Range are not the superior PvP general. I did a video some time back saying that that ground is the MVP of PvP, and they seriously are. Ground is the MVP of PvP, and the more people are using these range generals, it makes it even more important to have a superior ground squad. Also, ground is the secret to the undead. Though they're just the to me the most superior troops in the game, specifically because they come with high health and high defense, both of these two areas. So it's a combined stat. Whereas with mounted, they're focused mostly on their attack. They do have a decent defense and health power, but when you max out all of the stats that you could possibly max out on all your troops, the defense and health power of ground troops is just insane. Um, Mounted will have an insane attack. If you use Hannibal Martinez with Hannibal, literally you can send the highest attack in the game with one of those generals when everything is maxed out. The highest attack in the game. You right now, Simeon the Great is probably the here we had no chance for a chance for general here. Didn't get it. Simeon the Great, then Alfred, and then probably Electra as the best range generals in the game. And they could do really really good. But in total, no matter how high you max the general, no matter how high you max the all the research, their level will just be mid tier comparison and attack to mounted troops and health power and defense compared to ground. And because of that, because they stack up in that area, since what happens with the ground troops is they have double stats that are benefiting them. It makes them a superior troop type. Makes them a superior troop type. Does that mean I'm advocating build a ground general specifically to focus on PvP? No, no, no. I'm just explaining how each troop type is. We have another chance for a general here. Is important in its own way. You're gonna start seeing a lot of Trojans being very high up on the general list for that reason on Scipio. You've seen them a few times. Hopefully I'm saying his name. Scipio, CPO. I'll go to him real quick. Um, what was his name? You probably see him already. Scipio Africanus. Real good ground generals. It's very different. I try to measure them, compare these two, him and Trajan, to see which one was the better general. I couldn't make a choice. I really could not make a choice between these two. A lot of people prefer Trajan. So, especially with him having a high base stat of 120 on the defense. But I don't know. I don't know who's actually the better general between those two. I haven't really did a real comparison with the newer generals that came out, but from what I've seen from all the newer generals, they're a mixed bag in their stats. That's why I haven't really focused on doing any videos on them, because besides Simeon the Great, they're mixed. They're mixed in the areas that they focus on. So that would make the current range and mounted generals more superior to them and their overall abilities. Like if you start mixing around with a mounted general and he still has heavy mounted, but you sacrifice some of his mounted attack to increase his defense and increase his health power. Now, I mean, yeah, that's really good. But what makes mounted such a superior force is their attack. So maximizing his attack ability will be what you want to do, not try to upgrade the health power and defense at the expense of the attack. You know what I mean? With the range, you want to focus on trying to increase their attack so they could eliminate the mounted troops faster. I will also put range bonus out there as well. And no matter what attack you send in or defense you're doing, we have another chance for a general here. You're gonna need siege. When I did the video on MVP, PvP, I didn't even touch on siege. Did not touch on siege. They have the lowest attack, the lowest defense, the lowest health power in the game, but they are the most necessary troops, for attack and defense. More so to me in attack. A lot of people say for defense. To me, more so in attack. And the reason what makes siege so deadly is the fact that um, all the other troops are preoccupied with each other before they get to siege. They're preoccupied with each other. So all the troops are going to be in their circular motion attacking, and siege has no direct enemy other than some siege trap, and that doesn't happen until like round 3 or 4 into the battle. We have another chance for a general here. So that's what separates a siege from the other troops. So these things are very important and to take note on when you want to decide what to do, what troops to build and focus building on. And the reason why focus building is so important is because you're really gonna need to make a decision on what troops you're gonna spend your resources on, since they pretty much utilize the same troops. Now I know range, they don't really use ore. They don't really use too much ore. And mounted, they use pretty much everything. Ground focus on food, mountain focus on ore, and range focuses on lumber. Those are their heavy areas, but they all utilize. Actually, ground doesn't utilize any lumber. It doesn't do it, or is it any ore? Ground doesn't utilize any ore. Oh, I didn't build them up. Ground doesn't utilize any lumber, and range doesn't utilize any ore. So, but you still need to pick a troop to focus on because they take the other resources you need to continue on building. So we're gonna finish this up. We're gonna do the last of these. 20 minutes is a very long time. I don't like to do a video this long, but as you can see, we did not get a general yet. We're down to the last 20K on this. And we did not get a historic general token yet. We did get Lucy. We did get Lucy. You're looking for the prince, particularly for the museum, for your museum. You look for the prince there, Prince Rhaegar, or you're looking for just a general token in general to be able to just randomly, hopefully pick up one of the best general. We're down to the last 10 here. We'll probably spend 100 to get that last one. That'll take us down to 0. And here we go. We're wrapping it up. And we still got no historical token. And as you can see, as random as it is, the drop rate is pretty low. It's pretty low. And that's it. So thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button. Send me a comment.